I want to turn your attention to a recent piece that I released on the Huffington Post about John Legend, Common, the Oscars, and Sean Hannity. Yes, what do they all have in common? Well, here is the thing. So last Sunday at the Oscars, John Legend and Common won the award for Best Song of the Year, Glory, which is an epic song. And if you haven't heard it, you should listen to it. It's awesome. The performance was, I cried during the performance. Maybe it was just Richard. Maybe I'm a crybaby. Whatever. I cried during the performance. It was great. When they accepted the Academy Award, this is what he said, and I think this is a very prophetic, not really prophetic, but it's a very, it's true. Right? We know that the Voting Rights Act that we fought for 50 years ago is being compromised right now in this country today. Selma is now because the struggle for justice is now. He went on to talk about the fact that there are more young African-American men, whether young or old, under incarcerated control than those that were in slavery in 1850. And I got to tell you, those words really touched home for me because one, we're talking about fact, and two, beyond the fact that we're talking about fact, we're doing nothing in our power to correct it. We see ourselves going down this road. We see in front of us a big mountain, right? We see in front of us that we are going to run into a big mountain, and we have done nothing in our power to stop the car from driving. Now, a lot of people feel as though that John Legend, rightfully or wrongfully so, brought politics into the Oscars awards. But the question that I ask myself is, when has politics never been a part of the Academy Awards? Think about who wins Academy Awards. Think about when movies win the Academy Award. There's always politics. The ideal of the Academy Awards, people are voting, is political in nature. But that's neither here nor there. His comments sort of riled up, those on the far right. And I was on a segment on this past Monday on Hannity talking about it. Now, I love Sean, and I got to tell you this, folks. I know people out there who watch a show, they might disagree with me vehemently, but I appreciate the fact that Sean is willing to have these conversations. Some say that it might be race baiting. Some say that it might be, talking about the negative. But having the conversation is important. Whether you agree or disagree with how they feel about the issue, having the conversation is where the importance lies. Which is why this is something that, is profound. And I think here's the thing. I was on with a gentleman by the name of Nigel Ennis. His comments were, the hands up, don't shoot movement needs to be pants up, don't loot. I found that to be utterly and totally insulting, not only to me, but to everybody all across this country, black, white, yellow, purple, gay, lesbian, straight, transgendered, who over the past 6 or 7 months decided that they were going to take to the streets and engage in some sort of action to stand up and fight back because Black Lives Matter, Mike Brown Lives Matter, Eric Garner's Lives Matter, and police brutality is a huge problem in this country. So the fact that we have some people out there who live in this world, who live in this dichotomy where they think that the police do nothing wrong, right, and the police don't, profile African-American men, right, or they think that, we're the reason, because I'm black and I'm a black man, that justifies me being profiled. There is where the problem is. They are the reasons. Let me tell you something, folks, and I hate to say it like this, but when you think about what we fought for, right, and you think about the justice that our ancestors fought for, if we truly want to live that justice, we've got to speak out anytime we see injustice. If we truly believe in justice and equality, when there's inequality and when there's injustice, we have to be the first ones to raise our voices. Whether we are alone raising our voices or we're raising our voices with a choir of people. And that is where I will always stand. And I guarantee you this, and I commit to you this one thing here at the Fowler Show. No matter how I got to the rodeo, I understand this one thing to be true. That it is my job at this show, no matter what happens, to stand up for justice and to stand up for equality and to stand up. If your rights are being marginalized and we hear about it in the Fowler Show, it's my job to speak out against it because somebody spoke out and spoke out for me. And I think that's the most important thing that we can learn. And what John Legend did was just that. He took his opportunity, a moment that is basically rarely given. Very few people have received the honor of getting an Academy Award. He took that moment to highlight millions of people who are suffering inequality and suffering injustice. And for that, he should be applauded, not degraded, not destroyed, and definitely not talked about. America. That's how I feel here on the show. And it's just one of those things. This is one of those things that really hits close to home for me. And, you know, it's one of those things that we really got to do a better job of in this country. If we truly believe in injustice, then we've got to fight it at every chance.